While the transfer window is very up in the air regarding Manchester United and INEOS's plans, talks have begun between Manchester United and certain clubs for certain players, young up-and-coming players that aren't going to be super expensive, that could be part of INEOS's new transfer strategy to involve Nice, to involve the Son, the Swiss club they own, to involve many things. Now, one thing you've got to remember about United is while first-team recruitment's been poor, recruitment of younger talents has been better, with Alvaro Fernandez, Garnacho and Mark Girardo all brought in a couple summers ago. Harry Amos brought in last summer with Gabriel Bianchiri and the Fletcher twins. Manchester United are very good at identifying some of the best young talents, but the question has been, why don't we identify young talents that could maybe come into the first team? You know, we missed out on Julian Alvarez, we missed out on Enzo Fernandez, we missed out on a bunch of players. And well, INEOS looks set to change that. So we're going to talk about the 3 players that could be coming in to Man United Nice across the INEOS situation and what the strategy could be for INEOS and Man United transfers moving forward. So let's get into the news. It was said that Manchester United and AC Milan have both made advances in the last few hours to sign Boca Juniors centre-back Aaron Anselmo, and it's possible that both sides will make a concrete offer soon. So apparently United are advancing on the deal. Fabrizio Romano said there's a genuine interest as well. This could be one that we look at. It was then said that Manchester United is seriously analysing the possibility of making an offer to Boca Juniors to sign the centre-back Anselmo. The plan would be to loan him out to the INEOS-owned Nice. And then it was said that Real Madrid are also closely following the centre-back that's linked with United and would be willing to pay the 15.8 million release clause. So just to explain how good this guy is, Real Madrid are looking at him, AC Milan looking at him. This could be a guy available for about £16 million that Real Madrid, Manchester United, AC Milan are all looking at. And apparently Manchester United are making advances. They're working on the deal. And while these sources aren't top-tier sources, we have had some Tier 1 sources say, look, there is an interest in there. And in terms of Anselmo and how high he's rated, it's the reason that a lot of clubs are in there. He's been described as a top player. I definitely look at this thread by Ben Matheson if you want a little bit more insight on Anselmo and what he would add in terms of things, but obviously composure, press resistant, long passing, someone that is good on the ball is something that we need at United for the future. And I think bringing in him on top of a Braithwaite, because we kind of do need 2 centre-back signings, but we definitely need one, could be quite smart business from United. It was said that he's 18 years of old. He's been compared to sort of the Christian Romero. He's very good. And as I said, I did a little bit of research on him lately, and his anticipation, his reading of the game and his pace is very good. And I agree with what Football Talent Scout is saying here. He seems like a very determined player. Reminds me a little bit of Sergio Ramos in that sense as well. Sergio Ramos, Christian Romero, very good on the ball. Very, very, that South American mindset. I want the ball, anticipates the game well, reading of the game well. He looks to be one of the best 18-year-old talents coming up at the moment. And while he'll be a bit more expensive, that's because he's got that bit more experience. A player with less experience, but a player that's recently made their debut, is Francesco Camara, a 16-year-old that United might look to bring in, but because of Brexit, he's one that they would sign, loan him out, maybe loan him out somewhere to Nice, and then potentially he would come to United in 2 years for the future. Now, he's a very, very good young player, very highly rated. I've done a bit of research on him. I'd have to watch him and actually do genuine watching and look at him more. If we sign him, I will do that. But from what I've researched from clips, it's sort of been made out that he's a very good talent. 22 games and 6 goals in that competition, 3 games and 3 goals in the Coppa Primavera, 6 games and 3 goals in UEFA Youth League, 6 games and 4 goals in the Under-17 qualifiers, became the youngest ever Italian goal scorer in the UEFA Youth League. Youngest ever Italian goal scorer in the UEFA Youth League. He became the 2nd youngest player to score a brace in the UEFA Youth League and became the youngest Serie A footballer ever at 16 years of age, just to give you some insight on him. And when he was playing for under-17s the other day, wins a penalty, scores a goal, wins a penalty and then converts the penalty, then scores a goal. We've got a hat-trick. He's a top player at the moment. And Man United look to be signing those Italian talents. We're going to get to the next top player that we're set to sign as well. But in 36 games, we've got 16 goals and 4 assists this season, directly involved in a goal every 107 minutes, and he's just turned 16 now. Talking of another Italian talent that INEOS did sign for did sign for the Son, was Simon Profundi, who will join on loan with an option to buy for 15 million euros. The deal done now. Considering how good he's been, it looks like that deal will be finalised for about 13 million euros. And this includes a break clause if he's not playing at least 50% of the games. But it's said that maybe he will go there and go to Nice, then go to United and Profundi. And what I want to talk about is INEOS potentially bringing in young talents, loaning them to Nice, loaning them to the Son, and using them as a network for Manchester United, like we see the RB clubs do, like we see City do, like we've even seen Brighton do. And Profundi in his last 4 games, goal, assist, and goal. He's only just turned 18. He's absolutely shining. He's doing really, really well in the Swiss League as well. I expect that this deal is going to be kept permanent. Maybe he'll be loaned to Nice a season later. Maybe he'll be moved on to United, but he looks like a top class player. And, you know, this isn't new for Manchester United to sign top talents. Buffon and, of course, Anselino are a lot more advanced talents. They've got, you know, they're going to be 15, 16, 17 million, that kind of thing. Whereas United have normally done those 400k talents and this and that. But I like that United are doing that. We missed out on Julian Alvarez. We missed out on Enzo Fernandez. We missed out on Moises Caicedo. I want those 10 to 15 million pound young gems, as well as continuing to do the really young things we do, like we might do with the AC Milan strikers, what we've done with Harry Amas this summer, what we've done with Gabriel Bianchiri this summer, where we go and get some of the best under 16 players, on top of getting some of the best 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-olds in football. We go out and get some of the best under 16 players in football. We signed Harry Amas from Watford last summer. We beat Chelsea to a signing. Manchester United under-18s have lost the game now, but they were unbeaten. They're top of the league. They've been unbelievable. And every time I've watched the under-18s, Harry Amas has been incredible for them. If you follow the academy, you keep an eye on what goes on with the academy, you'll know how good Harry Amas has been. And he only came in. Another player that's looking really good is Bianchiri. He left Cardiff to join United as well. And these were two players that we were being linked with literally in February, March last year. As you can see, March 2nd, 2022, February 18th, 2023. So I think when we're linked to players like Elise, we have to wait till summer to know something's going to happen. But I think when we're linked to players here like Kamada, when we're linked to players here like Anselmo, you have to say, well, you know, these are players that United could actually go and be working on right now. I don't think they'll be working on Elise or Branthwaite or any of the summer signings until the summer window opens. But these young players could be deals we're working on. And they weren't the only two players we signed. We also signed Tyler and Jack Fletcher from the Manchester City Academy for a small fee. And I think that's one thing that United have got spot on. And if you look at things here, Harry Amas in the last 14 months was named on the Watford first team bench at 15. He completed a move to Man United in August this year. He then started within February this year, because he was so good at the under-18s. He's now training with Eric Ten Hag on the first team. He's made his under-21 debut and he signed a professional contract. And it wouldn't be surprising if he gets an opportunity maybe in pre-season to actually play for United and maybe eventually break through into the first team. But he's only 16, so maybe another year or two before he breaks into the first team, because at defence, you normally break through a little bit later because of the physical side. But he's an unbelievable player, and that's not the only time Man United have done that. But I look at Manchester United and I think INEOS could bring in some young players. INEOS could bring in that Buffon. They could work him through Nice. He could get to United. Anselino, Kamada. They've already brought in loads of players in the academy pre-INEOS that I think INEOS will continue to do because it's worked well. But you also look at Manchester United. We've got Maino, we've got Højlund, we've got Garnacho, we've got this young core, we've got these brilliant under-18s, we've got these players that could be potentially coming in, and it looks like sort of there's a very long-term, maybe sustainable strategy on the youth, because even if the youth doesn't work out, but you sign a young player for 4 million, you can maybe sell that player for 15, 20 million. Maybe a more sustainable strategy to focus on youth and build around this young core, which are the three players that INEOS allegedly want to build around. And on top of that, you look at the strikers we've been linked to: Sesko 20, Ferguson 19, Xerxes 22. It looks like United's going for this sort of young approach. Now, I think Evan Ferguson's dropped off a bit. He can't even start for Brighton at the moment. So we've got to make sure we don't overpay for that. But there's three, really talented, really good young players that United are looking at, and they seem to be going for this youthful approach. And I wanted to get something up on my screen because I've been talking about how going for young players is a sustainable approach, because even if they don't work out for United, you can probably sell them on for more money, especially if you actually get efficient people when selling and buying at United. But during 2019, we signed a lot of kids. We signed Amad Diallo, which is 18 million, Garnacho, Pelistri, Camboala, Hannibal, McNeil, Forson, Gerardo, and Alvaro Fernandez. We signed all of these kids for under 40 million. And considering that Amad was basically 20 million, we signed, if it wasn't for Amad, we'd have signed a lot of our talents for about 15 million. And now, as the Swedish Rumble has mentioned, players like Garnacho, probably 60, 70, maybe even 80 million on the current market. Forson, I mean, even if he doesn't have a career at United, he could probably go for $1 million or $2 million. McNeil could maybe go for $1 million or so. Hannibal, we might get 15 million for. Camboala, you could get 10, 12 million for as well. Even Pelistri, you probably get 15, 20 million for. Even if they don't make it United, some of these players, they'll be sold for a bit of money. And I think Amad Diallo has a future in the squad, potentially in more central areas. I think Garnacho is the future. I think Pelistri will probably be sold because I think you've got to pick between Ahmed and Pelistri, with Elise probably coming in. Camboire could have a future, particularly with a lot of centre-backs that could be leaving. Hannibal, I think it's unlikely, but there's definitely a good player there. Charlie and McNeil, unfortunately, been disappointing, but I think maybe if we can find him the right loan, you never know. And Girardo's gone, and I think Force and Ten are great, but I think he will go. And Alvaro Fernandez we got for free, and we might be selling him for 8 million to Benfica. We could have used him this season, but I really like United's more approach to the youth. So this was a different kind of video because I think the news is a bit boring. The news is a bit dead at the moment. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do hit the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.